Hello gainers, Ralphie here on location in the beautiful Isle of Man with another one of my Fitter Philosophy vlogs. Now, shall we walk while I talk? Why not? We're in a beautiful park. Parks, as you know, wherever you are in the world, are very valuable areas because they are a modified natural space for recreation, fresh air, if you're in the right environment, and importantly it's modified. Parks are relatively safe compared to wild areas which can have their hazards, whether it be falls, sudden storms, flash floods in rivers. All these things you don't tend to get in parks. The paths are softer, it's easier particularly for older folk and for people when they're drunk. And my subject for this video, it follows on from the last one, which has been part of a series on risk and the risk of fear, how we can manage fear. And of course the flip side of that is joy or happiness. And it may hardly seem much of a risk to experience joy and happiness, but many people make a big mistake in the pursuit of happiness, and that is by misunderstanding what happiness is. And this is what I'm really going to focus on in the main content of my video here. On this beautiful sunny day, do you know, it's often the simple things in life which make us happiest. A bit of time, fresh air. We really don't need a lot in life. And one of the mistakes that people make is thinking that to have more status, more possessions, more jewellery, more apparent valuable stuff like gold. Gold's just a commodity. It basically, what makes gold special, and you very rarely hear this mentioned, what really makes gold special is not that it's rare, because gold is not particularly rare. Meteorites are rarer than gold, well, the good ones. But the fact is that gold is the physical embodiment of ether, and nobody ever tells you that. When they talk about the philosophers and the transmutation of lead into gold, or the base into divine, it's an allegory. It's a, I don't think that's the quite the right word actually. It's a suggestion that through the focus of certain energies, understanding, knowledge, application, principles and sciences, natural sciences, that something that is simple, abundant, can be elevated into something that's precious. And this is very, very true, because all matter is made of ether. Science at the moment, there is a conflict, and I know I'm digressing a little bit, so I won't take long with this. There's a very, very interesting argument happening out there in the scientific community that suggests that most cutting edge of science and the greatest of scientific reputations are in fact endorsing a very flawed theory, which is there because it's endorsed by those in power, because it keeps the human mind contained, and that in this moment in time is being challenged. And there are many people who regard happiness as being enlightened. To talk to your Buddhists, for example, they're great practitioners of that, and it's very true. You know, what do we really need? To have enough is to have a lot. To have too much is to leave us wanting more. And if we are mindful, and it's not complex, it's not rocket science I'm talking about here, gainers, you know, it's the simple practical things. And what I notice is that one of the biggest mistakes that people make in the pursuit of happiness is to misinterpret what happiness is. And they'll say, if I have more money, I'll be happy. If I'm more beautiful, I'll be happy. If I'm more charismatic and entertaining, I'll be happy. If I know these people, I'll be happy. And if I drive that car, I will be happy. It's a simplistic, materialistic, shallow sense of happiness. It is fleeting, it is addictive, it is narcotic, and it is fake. The big mistake is people think they will be happy by pursuing happiness on other people's terms. Here's what we really should be doing. Know ourselves better. Understand the circumstances that actually lead to the right situation where we're happy. So we're not pursuing happiness anymore. We're pursuing the things that we know, when we're honest with ourselves, will lead to our happiness. And happiness being made up of contentment, positivity, self-empowerment, delivering some positive energy from ourselves out into the world around us, rather than negativity, which too many people do. And that's really quite illusory. And that is really where we can find contentment, joy, happiness, is knowing what works for us and understanding it's the simple things, really simple things. First and foremost is time. The most underrated and undervalued commodity that we can have in our lives is time. This is why many of us are put into cultures where if we work longer hours and if we work harder, we'll get more. No, we don't. We're rewarded with a portion of material stuff which in no way justifies the efforts, the energy and the time we've put into acquiring it. In fact, the whole financial system is built on it. And people, a classic mistake, people who pursue the acquisition of money think it will make them richer, and they're wrong. It makes them poorer in many respects. There are plenty of millionaires and even billionaires out there who are living in poverty. Not material poverty, but every other poverty that comes with it. Meanwhile, there are people who do not appear to have much. They appear to be leading simple lives, yet they're incredibly rich, productive, successful lives. They can even be off the grid. They might even be simply working an allotment and just have a coal fire or a wood fire to heat a simple house. But if they've got the health and they understand themselves and the contentment within themselves in relation and communion with the world around them, these are the people that you really want to track down, spend time with, because it's all very well me telling you about it, but there's nothing better than our own experience of observation to see what makes happiness, proper happiness in others, that we can then reflect in our own lives and see what gives proper happiness to us, without the distractions of other people's manipulative, applied, fake, false values, which are basically designed to suit them and not us. I'm Ralphie, having a walk in the park. The sun is shining, the air is fresh. I had food to eat this morning, and I've had a piece of chocolate, and frankly, I feel very, very happy. And one reason is because I enjoy, as time goes on, I increasingly enjoy through the lessons of life, is living in the moment. And that's where I'm going to conclude. True joy and happiness is not thinking too much about yesterday and not thinking too much about tomorrow. It's about thinking about here, right now, making the most of what we have that's right immediately around us, whether it be the quality of our friendships or the quality of our environment. And do you know what? It's up to us to make it that way. I'm Ralphie. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm going to leave you with a lovely view of a lake. Here we go.